Sometimes you're just not sure where an interview is going to go. My interview with Holly Duckworth took me to a place that was both unexpected for me and Holly. So as we end this VOE program for November, we will end it in a special way. There will be nothing that follows, no announcements. Just reside in the peace and tranquility of a Thanksgiving blessing. And now, Holly Duckworth.
My guest on VOE now is Holly Duckworth. Holly, thank you for being here. You've got all kinds of accolades for your work in mindfulness. So tell us a little bit about mindfulness. I mean, I think, let's put it this way. My wife talks about it. I think I have a cursory understanding of what it is, but my ADHD, I've got to be on the go doing stuff, doesn't allow me to slow down and think about that. So I'm confused.
Well, this is the number one thing I get asked all the time. Holly, what is mindfulness? And that is the biggest strength about mindfulness is there's lots of ways to define it, but it's also what's selling mindfulness a challenge. Mindfulness is the practice of being present in the moment without judgment. And that's the most famous definition by John Kabat-Zinn. So that's what I teach from, the practice of being present in the moment without judgment.
So you said something that, of course, my mind now wants to go down a rabbit hole with. And you said that's the number one question you get and also what makes it difficult to sell. So let's talk about how you're creating success with an idea that some people don't fully understand or can't equate to profitability.
Well, Deepak Chopra is doing something right, so there has to be some profitability in this business.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And that's part of mindfulness too, is it is done unto you as you believe. So stepping into the truth of whatever your message is, whether it's mindfulness or sports, believing in your story and believing in the product and service you have to offer. So that's really where I start with mindfulness, is understanding that there is a lot of skeptics out there in my marketplace and meeting them where they are and taking them where I want them to go. Being open to have that really elementary base level conversation first and then start moving them into the mindfulness practices, which of course is what my first book does.
How do you go about doing that?
I think you have to start with your own sense of self and your own clarity. So I definitely practice what I preach every day, visioning, meditations, affirmations, and then using that law of attraction to attract the right clients to you. So I had to get really clear as I started to own this space as the Mindful Leadership Guide that I'm not going to be for everyone. And my brand isn't going to be for everyone, but being willing to serve the people who are curious and ready. That's why I say I meet them where they are and take them where they need to go. That's how I do it.
When you talk about visioning and affirmations, this is kind of a personal question. It's pulling the onion back, the layers of the onion. How do you vision? What is your process, if there's a process, or what is your process of doing affirmations?
So we'll do the visioning one first. Visioning is in the book. It's the letter V, and it is actually I have 6 questions that I ask my inner wisdom voice. What's the highest and best vision for my business? Might be an example for speakers. Or what's the highest and best vision for my next keynote? And then I listen to that intuition voice and I will start writing that down. And visioning is a practice. I do it over and over and over again. I refine it. And every talk for me, every client interaction starts from that. What's the highest and best that can come through? Even this little VOE experience, I take a few minutes to be mindful before coming in and saying, okay, what is that spirit message, that mindful message that can come through me to serve this audience? So visioning is 5 questions, 5 or 6 questions. What's the highest and best? What does that look like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? Questions like, what must I release in order for that vision to come through? And those are the types of questions that I start to ask. And then I create a full vision. And then the other one was affirmations, right?
Yes.
Affirmations for me are mantras. It's the the tweet of how I want the day to go. So
That's cool.
my tweet of how, one of them I use, and I would certainly invite my speaker friends to use it as well, is I'm the perfect person at the perfect time with the right and perfect message. So those moments that I'm walking down to the stage, and we all sometimes get a little nervous about that. I'm the perfect person at the perfect time with the right and perfect message. And so as I walk to that's one affirmation I use.
I love that. There's a very deep and spiritual component to what you're sharing. Is there a backstory to that?
Of course, there's a backstory to that. I've had the fortune of being in NSA for many years. I'm a past chapter president. I have background in meeting and event planning, went on to become an association executive. And about 6 years ago, I went back and I got an advanced certification as a licensed spiritual practitioner. So I put all these things in the blender, and spirituality in business doesn't sell, but mindfulness is sexy. So I've been able to repackage and rebrand all of the levels of my expertise to become a spiritual practitioner. So I can actually do weddings and funerals and bury people and marry people. And then I'm also a licensed prayer practitioner. So it's a fortunate privilege. Sometimes, while I don't use the word prayer on stage, these tools of visioning, affirmations, well, they're not in a religious context, they can come across as a spiritual context. And that's, the spirit is that energy and that love that we all get to bring to the world. And I hope that NSA and all of our members really honor the spirit of who we are. And then we obviously talk about the spirit of Cabot as well. So yes, I have a huge backstory on my passion for spirituality and mindfulness.
Now this puts you on the spot.
Uh-oh, I've been on the spot a lot here.
So as we close out our VOE interview, can you lead us in an affirmative prayer for the highest and best for all people who are listening on this VOE podcast?
Oh, can I? Wow, that is putting me on the spot, but I'd absolutely be honored to do that. The 5 steps of prayer are recognize, unify, realize, thanksgiving, and release. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do that for you. So I would just invite all of our NSA family listening to the show to just breathe in and breathe out all of the stress of being in this business, all of the doingness that comes with this business. And I will state a word recognizing that there is a good in this world that is working for us. It is as close as the sun, the moon, and the stars. It is the friend sitting in the seat next to you. It is your office mate. It might be that contractor that you call. It is in our clients, it is in our blogs, and in all of the partnerships that we have. So from this place, Chuck and I and all of the contributors to VOE come together to remember the good of life. And I recognize this day that the words that we speak and that we write, the meeting professionals we get to touch, the audiences that we educate, we connect, and inspire are inspired by our work. And our work goes out in the world to press down and multiply love. So I give thanks for the knowing that this is already true. It is already so, and by the power of my word and the words that we all speak together, we declare it as so by saying, amen, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was awesome, and a VOE segment that I will never forget.